CJ Stroud put himself where in the top 5 quarterbacks? On the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast this week, Stroud was asked who are the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, and, well, he put himself in the top 5. And, well, CJ, given his own list, put himself at 3. His list started off as Patrick Mahomes at number 1, the Super Bowl champion. Then the reigning defending MVP Lamar Jackson at 2. CJ Stroud put himself right there at 3 initially. Then there's a little bit of controversy on the list here. The clip making its way around initially had Stroud saying that it was going to be Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts as 4 and 5 on the list in his top 5. Since then, Stroud has fixed it on social media. He took to Instagram to correct his list. He didn't correct the top 3. He corrected the bottom 2. He said he forgot about Josh Allen. He put Josh Allen in there, and then he put Dak Prescott at 5. Now, it's worth noting, here's the caveat on CJ Stroud's top 5 list. This was solely based on last year's performance. So what occurred last season? Stroud put himself 3rd in the list both times, put himself behind Mahomes and Lamar in that 3rd spot, and that makes a lot of sense. And when you factor in just what last year was and how well CJ Stroud played as a rookie in a organization that had offensive line chaos all season long, that had wide receivers in and out of the lineup all year long. Obviously, Tank Dell didn't finish the season healthy, and he took care of the football really well. Now, there are some pieces of his profile from last season statistically that aren't great. Completion percentage is a little bit lower than some of these other guys. Same with QBR, but some of these counting stats and some of those things are going to look bad when he had to try to make as many plays as he needed to. I have to imagine Stroud is factoring in the fact that that was his first go of things in the NFL as one of the reasons he found himself there. Now, Josh Allen, he was pretty impressive last year. Allen will turn the ball over quite a bit, both interceptions and fumbles, but he had a lot of passing touchdowns, and he was 2nd in the NFL in rushing touchdowns with 15, behind only Raheem Mostert. So those legs being a big weapon for Allen, that makes him get on CJ Stroud's list. And Stroud, very complimentary of Dak Prescott. He mentioned that Dak takes care of his business. Obviously, Prescott had quite a few touchdowns last year, led the league in passing touchdowns at the quarterback spot. I don't know what other spot would have passing touchdowns, Cody, but you get what I'm saying. And had less than 10 interceptions. So it was a good season for Dak Prescott, even though the Cowboys, not the, best season overall for them. And I know they probably would have liked to run the football a little bit better, but hey, Dak Prescott taking care of his business. He going to need to do that again to get a big contract. But Stroud, very complimentary of Dak Prescott. Tank Dell on this podcast with CJ Stroud as well. He's like, no love for Joe Burrow. And Stroud said, again, this is about last year. Burrow obviously got hurt, but he said he has a lot of love for Joe Burrow, and then even patterned some of his game after Joe Burrow, which I thought was an interesting addition into the conversation of the quarterbacks that Stroud likes and, of course, likes to watch. It's worth noting on his top 5, he only played Lamar Jackson last year. He didn't play Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. He didn't play Josh Allen. He didn't play Dak Prescott. He didn't play Jalen Hurts, who was initially on his top 5 and then off his top 5. He did play a healthy Joe Burrow, and ultimately Stroud and company came out on top in that matchup. Stroud played really well until the last little bit, had a couple of hiccups. But going forward, in Stroud's top 5, in his top 5 quarterbacks, he plays the other 4 top 5 quarterbacks this season. He will play Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson within a couple of days of each other as the Texans take on the Chiefs on a Saturday, and then just a few days later host the Ravens for a Christmas. And he takes on Lamar Jackson in that one. Of course, there's a Monday Night Football affair with the Dallas Cowboys in the middle of the schedule, and then in the early portion of the schedule, the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen will come to town to take on CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans. So I thought that was interesting that among his top 5 quarterbacks, he can't play himself, but among his top 5 quarterbacks, he plays the other 4 in the top 5 this year after only playing one of them, albeit twice last year, in Lamar Jackson. Now, he obviously won't play Jalen Hurts this year unless it's Texans, Eagles in the Super Bowl, which if that's the case, sign me all the way up. So that's Stroud's top 5 with the caveat of their performances last season. How about Cody Stoots' top 5 with the caveat of who he wants going into this season, who I want going into this season. Again, this is not about past performance. This is not about the statistical impressiveness, just who I would trust if I was a team to put at the quarterback spot. And of course, I'm going with Patrick Mahomes at the top, following up with Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and I've got an asterisk there next to Burrow's name because an unhealthy Joe Burrow, obviously not in the top 5. I love what Josh Allen does with his legs. I know he's a little reckless with the football. Sometimes you've got to be reckless with the talent deficit that the Bills had at different times. Just had Stephon Diggs at the wide receiver spot last year. I know Gabe Davis is okay. Never been a 1,000-yard receiver. Dalton Kincaid was a rookie at the tight end position. But I really like Josh Allen's game, even though he does get a little reckless. And I probably will regret, as I look at this top 5 here, I'll probably regret not putting CJ Stroud at 4 instead of Josh Allen, just because Stroud doesn't make a lot of mistakes with the football, and you have to take care of the football at the quarterback spot. But Allen, he's just so dynamic sometimes. He almost makes up for some of the risks and that he takes and that don't go his way. So that's my top 5 going into 2024. And of course, the asterisk next to Burrow if he is not healthy. That wrist is still giving him some issues. Then go ahead and move everybody up. I'll drop Burrow down out of that top 5. And then, I like Dak a little bit more than most people. I think he's probably going to try to pad the stats to a pretty large degree here in 2024, try to get himself a big contract. So he'd probably jump in there if I dropped a injured Joe Burrow out. Not in love with Jalen Hurts' game, even though he's dynamic with both his arm and his feet, just like Allen is. It just doesn't click from the passing performance just enough for me for Jalen Hurts. That's my top 5. You know what? Throw your top 5 in the comment section down below. I've also put a link to that entire interview, $1 million worth of game with CJ Stroud and Tank Dell. That's in the description as well. I play you a bunch of their video, but they're on YouTube here. I'm not stealing their content. Just watch the video. Something huge comes out of it. We'll cover it here on the channel. But the top 5 making its rounds on the clips. And of course, CJ Stroud's social media. What'd you think of his top 5? What do you think of my top 5? And what's your top 5? Put whatever caveat you want there on your top 5. Let me know in the comment section down below. On your way down there, throw me a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Can't wait till we talk Texans again soon. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks again for watching.